Everybody, welcome to another episode of Personal Mastery Training, the Alliance. Today, it's myself and Ray. All right, so here we go. Here's what we want to talk about today. As I'm on this journey, I know many of you have made it fully aware, but I'm on this at 57 years old. I've decided to jump on this journey of getting to the bodybuilding stage and competing. I've been in this industry, the bodybuilding space, fitness space for 30 years. Never once have I thought about putting on the trunks or whatever is in competing. I've always been taking care of my athletes in that space for on a physical level, mindset level, and I've given them my time. But due to certain circumstances, um, I've decided let me throw my hat in the ring and do this. And mostly because I needed something to channel my energy to put this mastery journey, this mastery conversation into play. Because, you know, you're only as good as your latest achievements. I can sit on my 30-year ago achievement and ride that one to the moon, but it's time. What are you doing lately? Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? So it was a good way to channel my energy. But here's what we're going to talk about. Since I've been on it, people said, "Oh man, I love what you're doing," because I'm posting it online and people are following me along, and I love to engage people and take them along the journey. My hope is to have an impact on them, and it is. But people have said to me in private, in messages, and so on, "I love what you're doing, man, but I could never do the food part of it." And I was talking to one of my clients about that, and I said, when you think of slavery, the phrase "discipline leads to freedom" came up, and then it came up with the idea of what is the opposite of freedom. It was being enslaved. And then I started to think that anything that it is an addiction to you, you're enslaved to it, because you feel when you think about a slave, the word and what it means having no options, having to do what you're told to do, having no choice, and in bondage. You can't have that freedom. And when you think about an addiction, it's the same thing. People in your mind, you think food addiction, porn, sex, drugs, alcohol. You're a slave to it. Would you not say that? I would say so. You're a slave to the thing that traps you, that allows you to think I have no choice and option. So on this journey, as I get closer now, at the time of this podcast, I'm a week out. A week today, at the time I'm recording this, I'll be done. And along the way, I felt freer. Why? Because I've been to birthday parties, Thanksgiving, so many functions, and food had been my favorite foods. I've been passed around my nose, and I'm yearning for them. But I push them away and go on with the goal at hand. And it's led to me feeling free. And you know what? I've also actually appreciated too. When I go back, I will appreciate the food, the thing, even more. So that's the topic I want to talk today is, are you, can you free yourself from being enslaved by your own habits, thoughts, and emotions? That's the quest. And Ray, I'll pass it over to you to add in your thoughts.
Yeah. One question that comes to my mind that I'm asking myself, and I'm asking all the listeners to ask themselves also, is what is your truth? Let's start with that, because in order to be free, we have to attach ourselves with some type of truth. What is true about our situations, how we see ourselves, okay, what we believe. Are we listening to external things? Are those things coming from us? Are they true? Okay, because in order to be disciplined, we have to attach ourselves with some type of truth. And what I love about discipline is that it's really simply what happens when your action starts to align with what is true. Okay, that's kind of one thing that I see it. Okay, we can think, oh, it's restrictive. We can think, oh, it's the hard part. We can think, oh, I don't want to do this. But it really is realignment. It's listening to ourselves throughout all the things and really finding. Let's dive deeper. Okay, one thing I found very interesting last week, I was listening to an audiobook. It's called Coactive Coaching. Okay. And it was challenging coaches on how to become better communicators. But for that, you had to become a better listener. And just by becoming a better listener, I found so many connections to discipline, to leadership, to so much stuff. Okay, so I'll tell you guys about it. There are three phases of listening if you want to find truth. Okay, here's the first phase. You might listen to Alvin's intro and start to react right away and start to put your twist on it. Oh, but that's not really true, or that's not for me, or that's listening on the first level. Okay, is already being attached to biases, not really listening deeply to the message and reacting to it. Okay, reacting to it, attaching all kinds of different things to it. That blocks discipline and that blocks finding truth. What we want to do is raise our level. When we come to a second level, we become very intentionally focused on the message, not so much about ourselves anymore. Okay, we're not thinking about what to say next. We're really, really listening. We're really present. We're trying to figure out what's being said and how it applies to us. And the third level, okay, that's where freedom is, I believe. It's called global listening, is where now you listen to yourself. You listen to the message with intuition, with curiosity, okay, with complete openness. You use all of your senses, and that's where you find. So, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, whatever it is that's holding you back, there's a lot of lies that we're telling ourselves, okay, as to why this is too difficult or why we shouldn't do that. By listening to ourselves more and going from level one listening, where we're really just responding and reacting with biases, to level three and then level two and then level three with global listening where we use all our senses. That's when things really, really happen and really align, and ultimately that's just when discipline shows up, and that's where freedom is. Okay, when we're fully invested with all of ourselves, and when whatever actions that we take and we make happen every single day are completely attached to the truth of what it is that's deep within us. Okay, and I'll start with that and I'll pass the mic.
Yes, the truth. Ooh, you're getting raw with that one. The truth of who we are and what intention is. And when you think about, again, the comment that I can't do this, I could never do the food thing. When you think about it, when we're eating, and Ray, you talked about the three phases of listening and the presupposition. I wrote number one as presupposition, just supposing it's supposed to be this way, or again, I heard you bring up a topic and I automatically put my own old beliefs on. I'm not truly listening. I listen to the first word and then add the rest. Presuppose that you meant this. And then intentional focus, looking at the information as it is, and really, and then global listening, bringing all your senses. It's the same thing as I'm thinking about. It's the same thing as eating. As let's talk. Let's stay in this conversation of I could never eat like that. That's why I would never do that contest or challenge myself that way. Well, when you think about food, most of us don't eat and really savor the food. We know what we're aiming for. So when we think about what we want to eat, and what do people typically ask? And I say this in my book. When you and I are going out to eat, I say, "What do you feel like eating, Ray?" Feel. So we're basically eating on feeling. If I'm sad, happy, something, I'll eat based on the mood I'm in. So that's not really a good intention, right? Eating should be there to feed and nourish and build the body. But that sounds too boring. What do I feel like eating? So, but the problem is we're eating and it's slipping by the tongue. We just so want to feel that feeling that we actually don't taste the food. We're just gobbling it down to feel the feeling until the feeling stops or satiates. But we move to level two, intentional focus. If we're really there to enjoy the good food, do you notice that high end restaurants with you know uh, the chefs that I forgot what that term's called when they receive that award. Um, anyways, that
The
top of
Michelin
Michelin,
stars.
Michelin stars. Yes, those restaurants. They're not fat like fast food where they dump it. It's all little portions, and they decorate it nice, and it's an experience. No one goes there and go, "Where's the next one? Let's go." You know what I mean? Like the big burger and their fries, and they're gutting it down, and drinking it. No one does that. It's a slow process. Food comes out slow. Conversations you're enjoying, right? And then the next phase is they see the meal. It's wow, and then they eat it slow, it's small portions, and they're eating it slow, and they're enjoying the tasting the flavor of everything. And then finally, the senses are kicking in. That's the next level, right? Where they bring the wine and you kind of sniff it before you. All these things are that high level of tongue listening, if you want to call it that, right? So, when people say I could never do that, because they have all these emotions. So I found then when I'm on this journey, I remember it's a 16-week journey for those who don't know. Halfway through, I think I was. Someone gave me I wasn't in my usual zone, so I couldn't get to my food. But someone had salad there. She had a salad, which is cool. She's also training, and so she made the salad a home dressing, and that tasted like the best salad I ever had, because it's been like 8 weeks since I haven't had anything different. And what I noticed was my taste was heightened. My taste for things and the appreciation for things were heightened because I restricted myself from mindless eating, because that's the beauty of this process too. Is, by the way, it's my addiction, just like our listeners. My food wasn't when I finished my meal, I was thinking about the next one. What's next? I wasn't even finished this one yet. I'm like, oh, when I'm done this, I'm gonna eat this next, and my next food, and my next. I was constantly focused on food. That's not enjoying it. That's just an addiction. I'm enslaved to it. Just next one, next one, next one. And am I truly? How many times do you think people chew? And there is a reason why we have teeth, right? Or should just have gums and just swallow. But that's what most of us do. We cut with the front, mulch with the back. We're supposed to chew. Everyone's heard this possibly before that we should chew 20 times. So the enzymes in the stomach doesn't have this big chunk of food to break down as we go down, and it emulsifies it. But if you're chewing, this is the reason for eating is we chew in the mouth. All your juices actually start in the mouth. Digestion starts in your mouth, and it breaks it down. And you're supposed to chew enough, goes down into a nice bulk in the stomach. No, we chunk. Most of us are 7 chunks in, and then no wonder we run out of stomach acid later on, because it would just burn it out. So my point though is, going along with your phase, that's how we listen. We listen in chunks and just hear and regurgitate and don't really enjoy a conversation. So let's roll back to the conversation of free yourself from your own slavery. I could never do this. Yeah, you could. And I love this journey because what it's allowed me to do is to dive deeper into. I had the same narrative, by the way, everyone that's listening. I had the same narrative. I could never do that. That's probably why I avoided it for 30 years. So, but now I said I need that. I need something to push me. So I did it. I'm doing it. And it's been great because now I feel like a free man finally. Right? If you want to feel like a free person, lean into things that you said you couldn't do. Lean into things that, oh, I could never study this. I could never do that. I could never change my path. I could never. What is it that you could never do? Why don't you attempt it and see? And it brings me to this great wisdom by Jim Rohn that his mentor told him. This is about money, but it applies everywhere. His mentor said to him, Jim, make $1 million, not for the money, but for what it makes of you to become one. Whoa. See, this journey, I'm not doing this for anything else, but what it's making of me is incredible. I feel like a free man. I feel like I have discipline. I love the discipline of this process. Actually, I eat 5 times a day, but these meals are measured and it's my workouts. Everything's it's structure. And I think we mentioned this last time in one of our podcasts where we said freedom without structure is its own form of slavery. Think about that too, right? Freedom. If you have all the freedom in the world, but you have no structure, it is its own form of slavery because you just meander. So I love this conversation. I'd like to throw that back, that listening phase, because are we truly eating, listening? Are we truly, whatever it is your vice is, step away from it, and it gives you this sense of freedom, and you can actually appreciate the thing even more. So I'll pass that back to you, Ray.
I'm looking it up online, just the definition of freedom, even, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll share two.
Mm-hmm.
The first one says the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. The second
Mm-hmm.
one is the state of not being imprisoned or enslaved. So,
Mm-hmm.
being completely free. Think about this, guys. The moment you decide what it is that you truly want to do, or even better, what it is that you're meant to be, okay? Meant to be or want to do. Wouldn't it feel great to be able to actually follow through with that? How awesome is that feeling? And on the other hand, what does it makes us feel when we continually betray? Okay, internally, we know, the world might not know, but we know that we continually betray what it is that we truly seek or what it is that we're truly meant to be. That's that discipline, really. Is really being able to tell ourselves, I honor myself enough to actually follow through with this. Give myself the structure, take the actions every day to follow through with this. That's what discipline says. And what freedom says is, wow, I followed through with this. So now I get to live and think and be as I wish. As I wish. Not as I'm forced to. Not as other people are telling me or the world is telling me, as I wish deep within. Isn't that the greatest feeling? Isn't that worth it in the end? And just going back to that concept of truth we were talking about before, once you know your truth, before you even know your truth, you have to take the time to actually ask yourself the question, what is your truth? Okay, what is your truth? Then from there, that is the stepping stone. Okay, that is the stepping stone to eventually get to freedom. So one does not go without the other, because we can get into this circle where we achieve a goal, and there's always a next goal and always a next goal, and we know that it never ends. What is it that truly makes us whole and happy? I believe we know that deep within, if we take the time to connect with that. And there's this thing with discipline, is that as we go through this process, we create the opportunity to connect daily with this truth. Okay. Not one time when we wrote it in our journal and, oh wow, okay, this is it. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is how I'm supposed to live my life. Now you have it, but what do you do with this? Okay. What oh I have the little guy who just broke down the door. Come here, Eli.
There we
Come say
go.
hi. All right.
Everybody, welcome Eli.
Yeah.
Janoktanye.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Little King Kong right here.
That's
Just
right.
broke down the door.
That's right. There you go.
Right? So connecting daily with this truth, that's the process we always talk about. And that's what strengthens it. That's how we start to embody it. It's not just an idea anymore. It gives it more than just momentum, it gives it life. It gives us trust in ourselves. Because again, we talked about listening to ourselves at first, but if I listen to myself enough globally with all my senses, and then my actions day to day reinforce that I'm telling the truth, that I'm really about it, I'm not betraying myself, it gives it strength. I start to embody this. And when I embody it, it gives it life, ultimately. So, discipline gives life to freedom. A lot of people dream and ideas of freedom that live in their mind die every day through their actions or through their lack of structure. Let's give it life. And with that, I'll pass the mic.
Oh, yeah. All right. All right. All right. Some great ideas there. Some great conversation pieces there. I'm going to go right to, discipline. I wrote here, summarizing what you said. I wrote, discipline opens the door. It's the key. Just think about, imagine slavery, the chains locked on your ankles. Some of you feel that right now. Think about something that you've been struggling with for a long time. Change, making a change, job, health, relationships, whatever it might be. You feel locked and chained to that thing, and it's driving you crazy. Discipline is the key that unlocks that chain from your ankles, unlocks the chain from your wrist. It is the key. Discipline, as Ray pointed out, leads to that freedom you're looking for, because it leads to creating a structure. Remember, without having freedom without structure is its own slavery. You need to input some structure in there. You are, as Ray pointed out, you are your results. I can see why you're getting the results you have by looking at your habits or lack of it. Well, you know what? They don't have a lack of habits. It's just the habits aren't getting them where they want to go. So everyone has a habit of some kind. If your life isn't going where you want it to go, it's not that you're less motivated than the other person, or less disciplined, you're just more of it in an area that's not getting you want to go. You're motivated. People are motivated to go out and have a smoke. So what if we shifted the motivation to something else? Everyone, again, it reminds me of Dorothy, Wizard of Oz. They all went looking for something, heart, brain, courage, whatever it might be. But they get to the end of the road and they find out they always had it. See, we all have the thing. That's the beauty of it. No one possesses something more than you do. It's just that they possess it in an area that's getting them where they want to go. You possess it, if you're not getting there, in an area that's taking you away from it. So don't feel someone's better than you. They just have a different habit pattern and structure. So what if you change your patterns and your habits? And now you're lit up because there's an area that you're great at. You know why? Because your habits in that area is great. So what if, again, discipline and structure are the keys that unlocks the chain from your ankles? Again, I was locked in, enslaved to food, constantly thinking about it. Could never do without it. I had so many narratives when I started this journey, it's crazy. And then I found this journey was the key, kept on unlocking, turning, combination, combination, turn, turn, turn. And now it's unlocked this part for me. I probably have some other enslaved things going on in my mind, but right now this part has been unlocked. I can go 16 weeks in a calorie deficit. And I'm down 20 pounds, 20 odd pounds, and while keeping my muscles. And it's 20 healthy pounds because it's about a pound or two a week. I just kept losing and losing and losing over the time. And my coach is, giving me guidance to not lose too much and just enough. But here I come. Here I am. Boom. Right here. And the thing about this journey is I could cheat. No one's watching me. I could easily get something in. I'm a grown man. I can buy whatever I want to buy. I can eat whatever I want to eat. No one's watching me. But I'm watching myself, building that discipline. I have to answer to myself. So, structure, discipline, it's the keys that can unlock the chain from your ankles, the bondage that's holding you to the addiction, but you have to implement it. And Ray talked about something else. He talked about freedom. Yeah, freedom. And I wrote here, do we want freedom? Sometimes that thing I'm asking you to unlock is part of your DNA, your identity. And it's scary because now you don't have, what do I do with that extra time? What do I do with those friends that I'm associated with, that I used to eat with, that I used to do this with? What do I do? Now I'm alienating them and I'm alienating me from them and ostracize myself from the group, the tribe. So do we want freedom? Is it worth it? That's part of that truth that Ray talked about. Do you really want freedom? Or just, it sounds good, it looks nice? So I will leave it there. Pass it back to Ray for the final word. Here we go.
Yeah. So I'll finish up with this, guys. Fear, because you're right. Do we want freedom? That's a
Yeah.
big question.
Just like democracy. Do we really want it? Anyways.
Fear puts us in a box. We're not meant to be in boxes. Just like that ship that's safe, right? It's safe at harbor.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think
In the
that's how you
harbor.
say.
Yep.
But it's meant to sell. It's meant to sell. That's who that's who we are. And think of it this way, okay? Whatever your chains are, okay, your chains are holding you within this box. In order to shatter the box, to shatter the chains, whatever it is it, hey, I don't have enough experience, I'm not smart enough, I'm this, I'm that. Every act of discipline is like a mace
Hmm.
hitting that chain, ultimately breaking that prison, filling up your hearts, awakening it, and making your life whole the way it's supposed to be. So let's just remember that. First, let's be aware of the boxes we live in. It's okay to be afraid. All we need to be a little bit more braver than we are afraid to reconnect with our true selves. And our true selves are meant to be free. Okay. Whether we're afraid of it or not, deep down, we're meant to sell. So go out there and sell. So, my word for today, all that being said, I would say start listening, but listen to yourself at a level that you can reconnect and find the truth. The truth. Because the truth will set you free. It starts with that.
Love that. Love that. Free. So many. This is one of the reasons why we have gotten rid of the term quotes and turn it to wisdoms, because they are wisdom. In just one little soundbite, you can get a whole world of. If we truly not don't treat it like quotes, where we just say them and leave them. The truth shall set you free, and we are talking about freedom. How many people are bound by their shame and guilt of the truth they didn't tell? Again, so many ways to look at it. So amazing episodes. Um, I wrote actually the ship at the barnacle, the ship in the harbor too. Yes, Ray was right. A ship, a car, anything that was made to be in motion, which is everything in life actually. Never mind. Everything was made to be in motion. Nothing should stop. Energy flows, should flow. It gets the ship in the harbor gets rusty, gets barnacles, and is useless if you don't take it out. So that's amazing. So my word then is yeah. I'm gonna go back to the word of discipline. Just I'm gonna take that word discipline and how much it is part of the keys to unlocking the chains that bind you. And how can you implement discipline this week, people? What are some ways you can implement discipline where there wasn't any and see the results? So, with that, I'm going to leave you with what my mentor, Dr. Tom Hill, said. Ray, do you have a input?
No,
Got
I
you.
was just
Got
ready.
you.
The
Ready to
signs
go.
ready.
Ready to go. So I'm going to leave you then with what my Dr. Hill would share with me. He said, you're going to hear many things in life, and many things when you read a book, you're going to read something, you're going to get a lot of ideas. But if you implement one thing and execute on it, it can change your life forever. So, what one thing in this episode did you hear? One, not 10, that you'll take this next 7 days or 14 days and create a structure around it, a habit, and rock and roll. All right. So, until next time, Ray, start us off. We wish you peace.
Peace.
A lot of love. We need it
Wow.
today. And with a little sprinkle of soul,
So,
baby. Soul, what's good for the soul? Just nourish the soul. All right. Until next time, we will wish you all a great week, great life, and I'll see you on the next call. Like, subscribe, share, and we're out. Peace.